Okay, so here's a problem we were talking about in class today where we were talking about a chlorine gas molecule plus hydroxide to make a chlorine ion and a chlorate ion. Now, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to approach this problem because I messed up in class and I realized now what I did. So the first thing is to write two half reactions. We do not include hydroxide in this half reaction because it is not a part of our two half reactions for oxidation and reduction. We just have chlorine to make Cl minus, and we have Cl2 to make ClO3. We're going to add hydroxide later, so we don't have to include it in our half reaction, but this is how you would approach this type of problem. So we have our two half reactions. We've got chlorine to make a chlorine ion, and we have chlorine to make chlorite, or a chlorate ion. Now, this is our half reaction so far. The first thing I've got to do is I've got to balance this for my number of atoms, so that's the first thing I need to do. So I wrote my half reactions. Now I need to balance my atoms. So I've got two chlorines here. I need two chlorines here. I have two chlorines here, which means I need two chlorate ions here. The next step in that process is to balance out the amount of oxygen atoms, which over here I've got 2 times 3, which means I have 6 oxygen atoms on this side. So I need to balance out these amount of oxygens over here with water molecules. So we add water. I add 6 water molecules on this side in order to have 6 oxygens on this side. So now I have 6 oxygens on both sides. In order to get rid or to balance out my hydrogens now, I need to add the same amount of hydrogens as hydrogen ions on my product side. So I add 12 hydrogen ions. So after I've done that, then I need to balance out my charges by adding the number of electrons to balance out the charges on both sides. So when I do this first, I notice over here, this is 0, this is -2. So I have to gain electrons on this side. So I'm gaining 2 electrons because 2 equals -2, -2 equals -2. Now down here it's a little bit more complicated because I've got water, I've got 6 water molecules that has a 0 charge. I've got 2 chlorine gas molecule, or 2 chlorine atoms, so a chlorine gas that has 0 charge. When I get over here to my chlorate ion, I've got a 2 times a -1 because a negative charge on the polyatomic ion, and I have 2 of them. So 2 times -1 is -2. I've got 12 hydrogen atoms, so that means 12 times +1 is +12. Then I add these two together, I get a -2 plus a -12, which gives me a +10. So +10 over here and 0 over here. That means I need to add electrons, and the reason why I'm adding them on this side and not on this side is because remember, up here I added electrons on this side, on the reactant side, so that means I need to add them on my product side down here, because remember, I'm losing electrons down here because I was gaining electrons up here, because this is gaining electrons of reduction. This is loss of electrons, which is oxidation. So I've got a +10, so I need to add 10 electrons down here. So now this is equal in charge, this is equal in charge. Next step is to balance out my electrons. I've got 5 here to make 10 electrons in this one because I've got 10 electrons down here. So I multiply this whole entire thing by 5. And I went ahead and just wrote that over here. So now I've got 5 times 2, I've got 10 electrons plus 5 chlorine gas molecules gives me 10 chlorine ions. I'm multiplying that whole thing by 5 in order to get my electrons to be the same in both half reactions. So now I can cancel out these electrons, and I just rewrote this one down here because I just wrote it out again. And so now my 10 electrons cancel out on both sides, and I rewrite my entire expression. So I've got, now notice how I've got Cl2 here and Cl2 here. 5 Cl2 plus 1 Cl2 gives me 6 Cl2. And then I've got 6 water molecules from right here. I've got 10 chlorine ions, which is right here, 2 chlorate ions, which are here, and then I've got 12 hydrogen ions, which come from right here. Now, remember in base solution, since this is basic, I need to add hydroxide ions for however many hydrogen ions I have. I've got 12 hydrogen ions here, which means I need to add 12 hydroxide ions here. I add 12 hydroxide ions, I have to add them to both sides in basic solution. When I do that, I get 6 Cl2 plus 6 H2O plus 12 OH gives me 10 Cl plus 2 ClO3 minus plus 12 H2O. Notice how H2O occurs on both sides. All of these water molecules are gone, and 6 of these water molecules are gone. So now I have 6. So notice how my coefficients here are 6, 2, 10, 12, and 6. They're all whole numbers that can be divided by 2. So I divide all of them by 2 here And I get my final answer of 3Cl2 plus 6OH gives me 5Cl minus plus ClO3 minus plus 3H2O. There you go. 5 minutes, not too bad.